Figured I'd do a quick tutorial on these swathers. There's not too many of the 2280 John Deere diesel swathers, little 4 cylinders. Had this one several years now. Love the thing. I had to put new tires on the back end here. I've repainted it. I've changed out lights to LED. Had to put new blinkers. I put a backup camera on because it comes real in handy, so you're not always craning your neck to see how the windrows are lining up behind you and laying out. You can just glance up on the side. It's got a John Deere diesel motor. Nice little thing. I repainted it. I've had to recharge the compressor. Check the oil, see. Oil still crystal clear. Had to clean the fuel tank out, which is up in here, and I put new fuel filter because the thing sat for 15 years before I got it. Had to repaint the cab on it, get the new air filter on top. These tires are expensive, $1,000 a piece. I still got to replace the other one. The only thing I don't like is this swather doesn't have a conditioner. I'm working on trying to find one to put in here as well. That way a conditioner squeezes the juice out of the hay and lets you actually dry a lot quicker, because out here you can see is the hay field. In about another week I'll be cutting again. I got about 6 acres out here of alfalfa, and so this field here is 2 years old, and the field on the other side where that crease is right there, that field was planted this year. And then so we'll see how it does. I've already done the first cutting on this, so this I'm gonna do them both together this next cutting. But yeah, these headers are real easy. They sat for so long to seal, and this lift up cylinder, this is what lifts the header up and down on the swather. And I had to spend, I think it was $300 or $400, and they rebuilt this cylinders because it used to just sit and just pour hydraulic oil out. And it's really easy. All you got to do on this to take these off is pop the pins on these collars, take the drive shaft off that goes to the cab, take the other pin off on that side, and then up underneath there's another pin you pop there, and then there's a leg. Well, you kind of see it right there. There's a foot thing you put down, and you just lower the header, and the swather can back right out from it. It's really easy. Everything on these things are pretty much belt driven. You can see all the power goes to that sprocket there, and that's what turns the gearbox, which moves the sickles. The sickles hook into this, we used to call them dog bone, I'm not sure what their name is now. And so then it goes in, and sorry, it's kind of dirty. This used to be an old sickle bar, the old rivet kind, where they actually squished them together with rivets. And so a couple winters ago, I went through and I drilled out all of them, and I went and got nuts and bolts and actually put the bolts with sickles. So anytime it breaks, now all I got to do is take a ratchet, undo the 2 bolts, slide the broken sickle out, and put the new one in, which I got spares of these and spares of these nuts. It's a lot easier than rivets. And so that helps. Eventually I'll have to get a new tray in here, because you can see there's a few wear spots in here, and they make aluminum seat thing you can put in, and covers underneath the auger there that pushes the hay to the center of the swather. But it's a lot nicer now with the sickles and having the nuts on them instead of the rivets, because otherwise you have to stop, drill them out, and put new rivets in, and this is a pain. This is the newer version. Up top, you can see I put 2 LEDs as well. Haven't really done my swathing at night. I usually do it during the middle of the day when I get off work. And then this other side here is just another belt drive as well. All that white stuff on here is I did the chain lube, which is the white one, so that's why it's just a grease. But yeah, this chain here runs the big auger, and this belt here hooks to this sprocket, which runs the reel, which pushes the hay in and feeds it into the swather, basically. So that's not too bad there. And then same on this side, you can see the hydraulic cylinder. This one wasn't leaking, so I haven't fixed that. And you just have to undo that bolt, lower the foot right here down, pull the pin, and then there's a pin right here that you can pull out. And once you pull that pin out, you lower this header, and it comes right off, which is nice. Right up on top on this side is where you add hydraulic oil. You got your antifreeze here. On this side here, you got the diesel fill. And I probably need to get a bigger battery, but this battery's been working the last 2 years. I had to spend $1,100 because they used John Deere, when they built these, made plastic parts, like all the inners are plastic, and so it went out, and the swather would run for about 5 minutes and die, and then run for about another 5 minutes and die. I had to do a jumper cable because the wire they originally had didn't work, and it still wasn't working good, and so I took it into a diesel place, and they rebuilt this with metal parts, and this thing's been running like a top ever since. And so you can see up underneath here, it's nothing too fancy. All I need to apply paint under here, it's all rusted out and all that. But you can see, if I had a conditioner, it would probably come all the way up to here, and you wouldn't even be able to see in here because the hay would funnel through there, and it has 2 rollers, and it squeezes the juice out of the stems of those, and it cuts your dry time. At least for me, it would cut it down by probably about 3 days. Because right now I have to cut, and it's about 5 days of dry time. I'll give you a quick tour of the cab. It's kind of dirty, but she gets the job done. I went and redid rubber matting. Haven't replaced the seat yet. I went and did a rubber mat across the roof. I did seat metal screws. There's that camera I was telling you about. Because if you look out the back window, you can see the camera back there. And that thing comes way in handy, trust me. It might not seem like a lot, but if you're constantly having to crane and look out the back, it's a pain. These here, I'm not a big fan of these. These pedals here, you go up or down, and that's what lifts your header up and down. You got your hydrostat, which basically you push this lever forward or backwards, and in center, like here where the end is, neutral. So the more you push on this bar, the more the swather is going to go faster. This engages the header, the reel. So we want to engage it. All you got to do is just push forward and then pull back when you want it off. You got your lights, you got your throttle, and then you got your start. We'll do a quick start so you can hear the thing run here. Runs like a top now. Then, like I was saying, to start the header reel, you just have to push this lever forward. See, the more you go forward, the reel kicks in. So that's about it on this. I'll go more in depth some other day on it, but I figured I'd give you a quick rundown of the 2280 John Deere diesel swathers. Thanks for watching.